Right, folks, you're all very welcome. We'll get moving. Just the usual reminders about the electronic devices. I don't know where I've put my electronic device, but okay. We have an apology from Adrian McQuillan and Naomi as well. I'm just going to declare an interest, a family interest in the issue around licensing bill. Draft minutes from the 1st of December, on page 6, and draft minutes from the 6th of December, and the tabled items. Are members content with those minutes as drafted? Okay, thank you. Matters arising. There's a written statement from the Minister in the introduction of Universal Credit at page 13. I'm sure we could talk about that all day, but it's there to note unless you have any particular points to make. Tend to note, but maybe not with. Right. What's this now? Sorry. At last week's meeting, we agreed for the clerk to draft a response to the Committee for the Executive on the Programme for Government. It's at page 8. If members are content, we'll forward that on.
Content.
All right, thank you. Just remind members that FRA had attended the Housing Rights Conference on the private rented sector on the 23rd of November, the East Belfast Network Centre. Conference aimed to look at key issues facing the private rented sector and consider the best practice across these islands. The details of the conference and links to papers are provided in the tabled items for members' information.
It was actually quite a good conference, although some of it may not have had bearing on the direction that we may go on, but it was a fairly good conference.
Good. Good to know. Well, we have those papers anyway. Thank you for that. All right. Item 5 is the licensing and registration of clubs. Bill consideration stage for the department. Back again, folks. Come on ahead. We've Liam Quinn and Carol Reid again. Just to refer members to the paper from the clerk and tabled items. It might be useful just in identifying some of the other issues, but I know we've gone through this 2 days ago, so I don't know whether there are any particular issues that people want to, or maybe Liam wants to raise, or that members want to raise. Issues under clause 11 and 12 were most substantial. Just if there's anything on those issues, maybe Liam, you wanted to highlight.
Chairman, thanks. We received a letter from the Chair just yesterday evening, and it's very comprehensive, setting out the committee's position. And I think it's fair to say there were no surprises in the letter, so we'll be briefing the Minister in due course, and the Minister will respond formally. On clause 11, there was an issue raised by ASDA, and I responded to the clerk, just pointing out that we didn't see any particular difficulty with the issue that ASDA raised around leaving alcohol to be collected at a remote location and providing the person who had purchased the alcohol with a key or a code to access it. It would already be illegal for anyone to send a young person to collect that alcohol, so we don't see that our proposed prohibition on vending machines would have any impact on that particular issue. As I understand it, ASDA don't operate that system in Northern Ireland anyway. It's the sort of thing that they use in more remote areas of Great Britain, where people may be living out in the Yorkshire moors or many miles from the nearest supermarket, so they would leave their groceries and drink to be collected at a central location for them. So we don't see any real issue with that. Clause 12 then, the restrictions on off-sales drinks, and I think we mentioned on Tuesday when we were here that the Minister will consider the letter from the Chair around the issue that there is a discrepancy between off-sales which are stand-alone off-sales and off-sales which are associated and linked to a pub operating under a pub licence. And we will look at that in detail and respond to the committee as part of the general response.
Okay. Thanks, Liam. Do any members have any other issues around some of the things that Liam's discussed, or anything else that they want to raise? And I'm aware we've just gone through this in further detail on Tuesday. Members, look, I think if you're content, we can give further consideration to the clerk's paper over the recess and ensure that we're kind of ready to go and making some decisions when we come back.
Yeah.
And look forward to, I suppose, a response from the Minister on some of those issues that we've highlighted. I think many of them will be issues that the Minister might want to take up himself, which would make things maybe a bit easier. And, you know, if there are issues that the committee still feel strongly about, we can put in amendments, and of course individual members can do that as well. So if members are content, we can move on, I think. Right.
Great, yep.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks. Item 6 is the Occupational and Personal Pension Schemes Automatic Enrolment Regulations 2016. So for members, page 22. Are members content for the rule to be made? I don't think we have any.
Great.
Just a clarification question, Chair. The workers with transitional protection, do we know who that sort of covers?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any detail on that, but if you want to follow up with
I was going to say, if there's an urgency to it, I mean, I have no reason to be concerned. Nobody's contacted me saying to be concerned. It was just, I suppose my only query was if this is going to affect somebody's right to a pension or requirement for somebody to receive a pension if they're being exempted. I'd just like to know who they are, I suppose.
What is the urgency on this rule, Kevin? Do we know?
no, this is the SL1 that we're looking at.
Oh,
So
sorry,
the
yeah,
SR will come in due course. So in the
there's no
meantime,
urgency, we
no,
can-
in the meantime, we'll.
We can seek some information on that then. Thanks. All right. Item 7, SR 419, State Pension Re-evaluation for Transitional Pensions Order, page 28. The examiner statutory rules hasn't yet reported on the SR, and therefore the committee will be asked to make the decision subject to the examiner statutory rules report. Do members have any objection to the rule? No?
No, sure, we'll get the report from the, on the statutory rule, I mean,
We have to, either we wait on that or we make a decision subject to that, I think is the point, which is what we always end up doing,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
this is the sort of the normal process, Chair, that we don't tend to wait on the examiner's report. It's subject, and then if there's issues that the examiner raises, then we come back to it and raise those with the department.
okay.
But
so
it's
you're
usually
not-
just a technical examination of the
Fair
statute.
enough.
All right, then, folks, I'll put the question. The Committee for Communities has considered the statutory rule SR 419, 2016, the State Pension Re-evaluation for Transitional Pensions Order 2016, and subject to Examiner Statutory Rules Report, has been no objection to the rule. Okay, thank you. Item 8 is correspondence. There's table correspondence from the Department of Justice in relation to the Judicial Pensions Regulation 217. Are members content to note that correspondence?
Yeah.
All right. There's also table correspondence from the Minister in relation to the planned review of the arms length bodies. We have briefings coming up on that, just to be scheduled in this forward work programme. Are members content to note at this stage?
Great.
Correspondence okay. There's also table correspondence from the Department in relation to the Register of Local Councillors' Interest. Members content that we note that as well. And it's the correspondence memos on page 36. Just that members are content, we'll action all our correspondence in accordance with that. Item 9 is the forward work programme. The draft forward work programme is at page 99. There's a steps to success briefing on schedule for the 2nd of February. There's 13 regional providers supporting the 3 lead providers. So I think Kevin's saying that we should seek their views on their experience first of all. Is that what you're saying,
Yeah,
Kevin?
Chair, we'll ask them to write and ask for sort of written submissions, and then we can think about just how we structure that day, given that there's so many actual providers.
There'll be a few issues as well, I would imagine.
Well, there's massive issues with this because I was working with the doctor children still in the car or coming out of car, and I mean the sanctions on particularly vulnerable young adults are massive. I mean the programme's a dog's dinner, to be frank. And so I think this is an issue that where possible we could try, and even if it means getting somewhere like a local gallery and just trying to get round everybody to try and ascertain what their experience has been. But basically also talk to the advocate groups. You know, I mean, PPR and others have done a very good report on this that actually deals with the facts. You've got Include Youth. They've got others who've done substantial work in this and actually making some very sensible recommendations for the way forward. In my opinion, there's also huge issues the way this whole contract was procured and tendered. And if we're going to come back and look at this again, I just think we need to learn. There's so many lessons out of this programme that we all could just do a stock take and put the recommendations forward, because I think it's really timely.
I think just before you come in, I think all of us will be aware of huge issues around this and some similar schemes. And I think it would be useful to get as many people in the room as possible, rather than us sort of coming to it whilst we all have our own particular experience of this, that we listen to what the people who are dealing with it on a daily basis are saying, and that we do try and give this as much of an airing as possible. You know, because I think the committee needs a strong view on it.
Chair,
Can I just make one comment? And I was on the Dell committee, and as I said last week, that when this was being procured and went through the whole thing, and there was for I think all the committee members on the Dell, they actually felt powerless to be able to do anything, because it just seemed to have been removed from their hands. That there was restrictions on the information that you were being given. That there was serious concerns raised at that time about where the contract was going to, the ignoring of local companies and things like that who had an experience of running these types of schemes. And I think it's something now that it falls within our remit. I think it's something that we need to take on board, and I think we need to be fairly proactive, because sometimes, and even at the end on our day, we raised the fact that this was a problem that was facing us, and then now we're sitting 6 months later now, after 5 months. I think what we need to do, and it does get lost in the middle of a lot of our stuff that we're doing, but we need to keep a fairly active eye on this here, just in case it tumbles not around us, because at the end of the day, it'll be us that'll have to pick up the pieces and responsibility for it.
I think it is the case that we have a very wide remit, and that we can't give everything maybe as much attention as we would like to every single week. But this is an issue that has, like, all of us will know this is a huge issue, and I think we do need to give it. And I think when Kevin's designing this day with us, that we do design it in such a way where we do have the opportunity to listen to all the concerns, and then take it from there. Are you comfortable enough with that approach, Kevin?
Yeah, Chair, this is one of the priorities that the committee identified in Strategic Planning Day.
Yeah.
And given that Tommy O'Reilly said that this is a programme that's coming to an end in 18 months, by the time February rolls around, obviously it'll be considerably shorter. So there's potential there for the committee to do a much more detailed piece of work that might inform a new programme. I think that there are obviously problems with the current programme. Yeah. Chair, there's issues in relation to as you said, the contract, the way it was procured. The numbers are coming through and they're actually getting employment. The issues with the sanctions regime, which have been highlighted both by PPR and Vice NI, who both produced reports. So there are different elements to the of concern to the current programme. But in terms of looking ahead, it's what is going to be put in place to be what programs are going to be put in place to address economic inactivity in the longer term. So it could be, if we take in the initial briefings from the providers, we'll work on maybe whether it's an inquiry or a one-off event to try to get down to what.
The bottom line of all this is what impact is this having on the community, either positive or negative, and is it doing the job it's supposed to do? And I think a lot of us would argue that it isn't. And what lessons can we learn?
Sure. See, Tommy will say that the programme's run out 18 months. What I'd like to find out from the department, and from Tommy in particular, is that what we don't want them is to start to cook or prepare another replacement with that not having learned any lessons from the past. So even just in terms of what preparations the department has done in terms of a new contract, including procurement, commissioning and tendering exercises, and what manner of evaluation have they done, because what I have done midway or mid-term evaluation, I appreciate it was a Dale programme, and in many respects DFC's picking lots of pieces up, but It's just that you don't want another programme with maybe just some tweaking and then us kind of sitting looking at it after the fact. So,
I think it's our job to shine a light on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
to be honest.
certainly,
And I think
certainly.
that we should. Well, let's leave this with Kevin to start with, and then we can come back to it after Christmas about how we actually approach this and what the best way of doing it is. So, if we're content, I think we can.
Can I just
Sorry,
ask, I should probably know this and I could find it out, but if anybody knows off the top of their head when the programme started, when it was procured, just to get the timeline on it.
Well, I think it was a
Four-year
four-year
contract.
four-year contract.
It's roughly
There's 18 months left. It must be 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
All right, folks. Are we comfortable then on that basis with
Yeah.
the draft forward work programme and what we've just said? Okay, folks. That's it. It's not it for the rest of the day. We're going down to Stella Morris and first out. Do you want
Sure.
to?
Should I just raise
quick brief.
on there on the air business?
You can, of course.
It's just
sorry.
one of knowing the last assembly, and I know this committee or the DSD committee got caught up in quite a number of issues, but one of the things that constantly come through to the fore was the private rented sector. And I know that we're talking about a review of the private rented sector. I'm not sure what stage that is at. There was a consultation that was carried out a while ago, and can we find out when we can expect to probably get our teeth into the future structures or the future of the private rented sector and how we deal with it?
Can we write to the Minister in that regard for an
Because I seen it
update
on the news last
on that consultation and where that's got to? Sorry, Michael.
I feel a sense of frustration because there seems to be an awful lot of reviews affecting the issue of housing and you can't really ascertain at what stage they're at. So like there's a review of the Common Selection Scheme, there's a review of the future of the housing executive, there's a review of the private rented sector. Is there any way that we could comprehensively get a briefing paper that would give us a stock take of where all of that is? And I don't mean everything because it would be huge, but the key strands that affect the issue of housing that are currently under review by the department, because you're trying on a piecemeal way to pull things together and it's very difficult to get an overall picture.
Yeah, well, I think that would be worth asking for. I think that will cover what Farah was saying as well.
Yeah.
Carol, go ahead.
Sure. Did anybody get any notice of the launch of the master plan at Sailortown?
I just got a hard copy, just.
No, I mean I spotted it literally the night before and sat reading it. But something substantial like a master plan, you would have thought. Notice. I mean, especially because it's a good news story in parts. You would have got more notice of it.
No, it's a sort of a running score, but let's do that around the issue of a comprehensive update on where all those different strands around the view of housing policy are, and hopefully we'll have that when we come back. So, folks, Kevin, do you want to just tell us a wee bit about what's happened directly after
Yes.
this meeting, just so people know?
Chair, just remind members, we have a visit down to Stella Maris later on this morning. We have to be down there for 11:30. There's a pack on your table that sort of outlines what was going to happen. It's the Stella Maris and Housing First projects is in Garmoyle Street. We were just discussing just earlier about getting down there. I think we're going to arrange maybe some taxis. It seems the parking seems to be an issue. So we'll do that. But Kerry Anthony is just going to meet us down there. I understand that the Minister for Health is actually down there this morning as
Right.
well. So we're going to there's a number you'll see there in the fourth page of your pack, just the lineup of people we're going to meet, including representatives from Stella Maris and Housing First, as well as Janet Hunter from Housing Rights, Jim Dennison from the Semi community as well as the Director of Services of Extern. You know that Extern just recently announced that they're going to purchase 10 houses to house ex-offenders. And also...
Where did they say they were going to do that?
Did they say whereabouts they were doing it?
It's going to be across Belfast. It isn't in one specific area. It's across. I think it's at Belfast. But we can take that one. It's a new initiative. It happens in GB, but this is the first time it's happened here. And then you'll see that from 12:15 we're going to the Housing First project in Nelson Street. It's just around the corner, I understand. So we're going to have lunch down there as well, and then it'll wrap up around 1:30. Later on this afternoon, Chair, there's an event in the pavilion hosted by CIH as well. Again, there's some information on that. I think a number of members said they might be interested in attending that, and that's just the type of new models for rented homes. Links into what Nicola had raised there about housing executive. You know, what's other than remaining completely in the public sector or whether it's in the private sector. What other models are there? And that will address that this afternoon down in the pavilion. So members have been invited down. That kicks off too. So it may be a bit of a rush to get back up if members want to go to that, but
I'll not be going to a housing conference, but we'll go to a rest, Kevin.
yeah,
So the housing conference is...
in the pavilion here on the estate.
Okay.
All right, folks. So we'll just arrange the way down now, just after this. Next meeting is the 12th of January.
Merry
Glad to hear.
Christmas. Happy New
Thanks.
Year.
Happy Christmas.
29.